isa-isa, no? At ipapaliwanag ko rin lang naman in my own words, no? So, okay. So, you are going to evaluate the different environmental impacts. No. What is the purpose of determining these environmental impacts? Okay, the very purpose is to determine the mitigation measures pertaining to that particular waste. No? Obviously, there are waste, there are pollution that can be generated during construction and during operation. Say around 20% of the total waste could be generated during construction. And 80% of the waste can be generated during the operation of your processing plant. Okay. So mas marami yung na-generate natin no during operation kasi continuous yun. Continuous operation. Okay? So, there are varied types of waste that can be identified no during construction and during operation. First is yung sinasabi nating environmental threats no coming from the offshore oil and gas operation, yung atmospheric impacts, no? So this relates to your emissions. Very obvious yung ating emission. We cannot escape from generating this or other related greenhouse gases, no? So yan yung ating kailangang i-mitigate. How can we reduce our carbon footprints during construction and at the same time during operation? Okay, so these are atmospheric issues, no? Kasi everything, yung ating mga carbon dioxide, no, will be absorbed by the atmosphere. It will be discharged to the atmosphere and it will be absorbed by the atmosphere. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng problems on ozone depletion, global warming, climate change. So yun yung mga degenerative effects of these carbon dioxide emissions. Okay? And these are rampant. These are huge during oil and gas industry operations. Okay? Another is yung tinatawag nating, so ito yung mga sources. Ito yung mga possible sources nung ating atmospheric emissions. So kung may mga flaring kang gagawin, no? You are going to flare yung mga excess gas natin, it could generate emission, obviously. No, nag-iinit yung ating atmosphere kasi may mga smoke tayo, etc., mga flue gases, etc. At high temperatures, everything will be discharged to the atmosphere. Venting and purging gases, yan yung mga tinatawag natin na emissions. Combustion process, kung gagamit ka ng mga diesel engine as your power generating system, no? Makaka-generate ka rin ng mga carbon dioxide emissions. Kaya nga isang sustainable approach natin is to incorporate renewable energy as a source of energy during our operation. Isa yan sa pwede nating gawin as our sustainable or innovative approach for our design, no? Kasi during combustion process, no, particularly when using this diesel engine or even gas turbines, no, nagsusunog tayo ng fossil fuels. We use diesel fuel, okay, we use natural gas as our fuel, no? Pero it creates emission during combustion process. It releases carbon dioxide emissions. Okay? Fugitive gases from loading operation, no? And tankage and losses from process equipment. So yan yung mga possible na sources ng ating atmospheric emission. And airborne particulates from soil disturbance during construction. Another thing is yung aquatic impacts. Okay? Ito yung mga na-generate natin. We can have our produced water, no? The drilling fluids kung kailangan natin, cuttings and well treatment of chemicals, process wash and drainage water, spills and leakage, and finally yung cooling water natin. Okay? So kailangan natin ng cooling purposes, cooling medium, no? May cooling system tayo for cooling purposes, okay? And we use cooling water as a medium. Okay? Yes, we cannot directly discharge it. No? Kasi high temperature siya. Hindi natin pwedeng i-discharge agad directly to the ocean, to the sea, no? Because detrimental yan doon sa marine lives natin. Okay? Another thing is yung potential emergencies which are occurred, no? Sa seismic, drilling, and production operation. Okay? Potential emergencies that threaten people, environment, and the property. Okay? Next is yung ating mga spillage of fuel, no? Gas and chemicals and hazardous materials. No? Very obvious na we could generate hazardous materials. Isa yan yung mga kailangan natin talagang iwasan or i-mitigate. Kung hindi man natin ma-prevent, kasi inherent doon sa process natin of generating this hazardous waste, then we should minimize hazardous waste materials, hazardous materials. Okay? Paano natin i-minimize siya? So, yun yung mga pwede natin gawa ng strategy. Oil and gas well blowout, okay, explosion, fire, and natural disasters. Okay? So these are mga potential threats to the environment, potential threats to the people and our property. Then of course, very obvious din yung oiling marine environment, yung oil pollution. No, pwedeng matatapon doon sa dagat yung mga oil, no? So ginamit natin during lubrication, during maintenance, etc. So, yan yung mga pwede nating tingnan. Okay? So, then, how can we manage it? So, yung management system, yun ang kailangan natin. So, there are several steps that we are going to consider. Okay? Hindi pwedeng basta lang tayo magmamanage pero hindi natin alam yung imamanage natin. The reason why we are going to do some life cycle analysis. Life cycle analysis is inherent to the processes which would generate waste and how we could mitigate this waste generation. Yan yung tawag sa ating life cycle analysis. From the use of your raw materials hanggang dun sa end product natin and byproducts, different processes, how can we minimize or eliminate those waste? No, yan yung goal ng ating life cycle analysis. Ang life cycle analysis, you cannot see it. Kung ikaw ay may mga hawak diyang mga maling design ng mga unang panahon, ng mga previous batches, tingnan ninyo at walang life cycle analysis. No, inuulit ko, walang life cycle analysis diyan sa mga previous design. Pero ngayon, ang gagawin ninyo ay you are going to prepare your life cycle analysis kasi part siya dito sa ating environmental management. Okay. So ito yung ating waste treatment and disposal techniques. Paano ka gagawa ng plano? No? Step 1, you have to define ano yung scope and timing ng plan mo. Area definition, ano yung included area? Okay? Hanggang saan ba yung iyong operational activities? Okay, that will cover yung ating waste treatment and disposal techniques plan. Then you are going to do waste identification. Yan. So you are going to identify those waste that can be generated from the construction until operation. What are the regulatory analysis? No? Ano yung mga requirements natin? Ano yung mga standards natin? Example of standards yung DENR standards na sinusunod natin. Okay? When it comes, say, for example, sa air pollution, sa wastewater, sa hazardous waste, etc. So you have to take a look on that, the regulatory requirements. Step 5 is waste categorization. No? So waste categorization, aalamin mo ano ba yung mga waste na kailangan mong i-separate from each other, no? Taking into consideration yung physical, chemical, and toxicological properties of each waste, no? So meron kang tinatawag dito na material safety data sheet, no? Na kailangan mong ma-accomplish, na makikita mo dito kung ano yung types ng waste natin. And then, step 6 will cover yung ating waste management and disposal option. Nung malaman mo na itong mga waste categorization, na alam mo na yung mga regulatory standards natin and requirements, okay, na identify mo na, na-categorize mo na yung waste, then you are going to propose a plan. Gagawa ka na ng plan. At i-design mo syempre, part ng iyong technical design ay yung iyong waste treatment. O, naka-incorporate siya sa technical. Okay? So, waste management option for each waste should be compiled, available options identified. No? And then, ito na yung sinasabi nating waste minimization. How can we minimize yung toxicity, yung waste volume, recycling, reclaiming. So, yun ang mga strategy natin. Reuse or treatment should be evaluated. Selection of preferred waste management practice. Dito ka gagawa ng life cycle analysis. Ito yung pinasabi ko sa inyo na part ng inyong gagawing mitigation measures is the life cycle analysis, which includes use, storage, treatment, transport, and disposal. Okay? And then implementation, no? You are going to compile all yung waste disposal options natin into one comprehensive waste management plan, and we are going to plan, review, and update. Ito yung kapag i-implement na natin in reality. So there are 10 steps that you are going to consider. At yan ang dapat makita ko. Inuulit ko, ito dapat ang makita ko sa inyong chapter 5. No, doon sa environmental aspect. Okay? Ito ay hindi makikita sa mga lumang design. Kahit pabuklatin ninyo ngayon dyan yung inyong mga ginagamit dyang kodigo, hindi yan makikita. Ito ay makikita lang ninyo dito sa ating module at yan ang inyong magiging reference sa paggagawa ng inyong environmental aspect ng plant design. Okay? Inuulit ko, pagka kayo ay nangopya lang, wala ito. At pagka kayo ay nangopya at ay sinabmit ninyo sa akin yung lumang design, wala itong aking hinihigit ito, ibig sabihin, madali kong madidetect na kayo ay nangopya lang. O, inuulit ko, pagka ginamit ninyo yung lumang design, itong part na ito ay wala. Kaya madali kong madidetect kung kayo ay nangopya. Kasi unang hahanapin ko sa inyo, where is the life cycle analysis? Yung life cycle analysis procedures can be downloaded sa Google. Napakaraming approach. No? Ayan. And then, ito na yung ating project management. Ito na yung huling part. No? Paano natin i-manage yung ating project? So, dalawang phases yan. No? Particularly, ang focus natin sa project management ay yung sa construction phase. No? Yung operation phase, yun ay iba ng usapan. Pero dito, we are referring on the project management, no? It is linked to the construction phase ng iyong processing plan. Nung iyong i-design na plan at paano mo siya i-execute, paano mo siya i-construct. So part of which is yung project management. Okay? So meron tayo ditong sinasabi na kailangan ay during construction, no, during execution and during commissioning, dapat ma-observe natin yung cost effectiveness. Okay? We are going to align all our activities dun sa budget natin, and we are going to take into account yung quality, yung scope, yung time, yung quality, and budget involved in the project. So, ibig sabihin, yung 4 components na yon, yung scope, yung time, yung quality, and budget, should go together. Ibig sabihin, may timeline ka dyan. Let's say, for example, based on your project schedule, you are going to finish the construction within 2 years, 24 months. No? So, dapat, doon sa 24 months mo na yun, no, 100% ka na kung ma-reach mo yung 2 years. Dapat yung budget na nakaano doon based on your project cost, dapat ayun din lang ang na-spend mo or nakasave ka pa. Hindi pwede na inabot ka ng 5 taon, 2 taon lang ang nakaplano mong construction time, no? Ang iyong budget dito ay, let's say, $50 billion lang, pero inabot ka ng doble, pero yung quality nakaset na dapat na standard quality and requirements ay hindi rin nasunod, so hindi successful yung project. That is the very purpose of coming up with a useful, no? Useful project management plan para ma-ensure natin yung cost effectiveness. Kasi every delay ng project would entail cost. Di ba? Kada ma-delay ng 1 buwan, kada ma-delay ng 1 taon, no? May cost na yan. Nag-iiba na yung, may inflation rate na tayo. Nag-iiba na yung cost ng equipment. Nag-iiba na yung cost ng ating labor. Okay? Kasi there are significant changes over time. Yung cost natin. Okay? So, project management services assist in delivering oil and gas projects on time, cost effectively, and qualitative, and by making the most efficient use of resources. Yan, isa yung napakahalagang statement. Effective use of resources. Okay? The services can be used in multiple stages of a project, right from the project appraisal and initiation to execution, startup, and commissioning. Commissioning is the last phase basically. No? So, daririto na yung mga testing, etc. And then finally, turn over na doon sa owner. No? So, yung commissioning, usually, diyan nakikita natin yung mga problems during initial startups ng ating planta. Okay, so meron tayong mga series of tests na gagawin, series of rectification to correct all those operating conditions. And then the primary challenge, may mga challenges tayo dito. Okay? The primary challenge of project management is to achieve all of the project goals. Ano ba yung goal natin sa project? And objectives while considering the preconceived constraints. Yan. So may constraints tayo. The primary constraints are scope, time, quality, and budget. The secondary and more ambitious challenge is to optimize the allocation of necessary input and integrate them to meet the predefined objectives. I hope this is clear. No, dapat makaano natin yan. Yan ang mahirap nating i-balance. Yung scope and time, the quality, and the budget. No, kasi meron tayong mga anticipated challenges during the construction. May mga na-encounter tayong problems. Halimbawa, delay ng materials, no? Delay ng iyong supplier doon sa mga materials natin. Nagkaroon tayo ng mga bad weather, no? Unexpected disaster, etc. And take note, we are in the remote offshore locations. Yan yung disadvantage, no? Kaya we could anticipate those potential risks associated during the construction process. Okay? So what are the project management, no? Ano ang gagawin natin? Main stages. Okay, project architecture includes choosing the best concept for the project and developing a strategy. Okay? Detailed planning, which cover the preparation of an execution plan for the project and includes front-end engineering design. FEED. Pag sinabi nating FEED, this is an acronym for front-end engineering design and contractor selection. Okay? So, in that case, you are going to take a look also on key challenges. Una, yung limited access to resources. Okay? Sorry. Parang nag-skip ako ng malayo. Yan. So execution is startup, which involves the management and delivery within the specified cost and time in addition to commissioning and startup. So dapat, kasi meron kang initial cost estimates, pag dineliver halimbawa yung mga equipment mo, dapat malapit lang doon. Hindi naman yung there is significant deviation from the cost. No? Kasi malulugi yung project mo. Okay, performance test, which includes testing phase to ensure the performance of the project is maintained and the project is delivered to plan as planned. No, it also covers performance test and handover of operations. Okay, what are the key challenges? No, so paano natin siya i-correct? No, i-overcome yung mga challenges na yun. So there are strategies for successful offshore project management. Una yung robust planning. Okay? So dapat thorough plan every aspect of the project. Okay? Unique challenges and risks associated with offshore operations. And you have to take into account all of this. Include detailed scheduling. Yun. So meron ka dapat na detalyeng pag-i-schedule ng mga activities, resource allocation and contingency plan for unexpected events. Yan. Laging kasama yung contingency plan. Hindi pwedeng mabubulaga ka lang, hindi mo alam ang gagawin. No? So doon pa lang, when you are doing your risk assessment, you are going to come up with your risk management plan, which is part of your contingency plan. Okay? Another thing is that yung effective communication. You have to establish clear lines of communication between project stakeholders, no? Both offshore and onshore. Utilize technology and regular meetings to ensure everyone is well informed and aligned with the project goals. And of course, yung skill teams natin. Take note, the team is composed of engineers of various disciplines. Hindi lang isang type ng engineer, no, ang mag-work dito. Kasama natin dito yung civil engineers, structural engineers, no, instrumentation and control engineers, mechanical engineers, petroleum engineers, no? So lahat 'yan. There you have your collaborative efforts during the construction phase. Electrical engineers, okay? Technicians and other skilled workers who can perform the assigned tasks based on the defined scope of work. Yan. So, ito yung mga key challenges natin, limited access to resources, no? So, merong mga example dito as our case analysis, no? So, limited access, one of the key challenges in offshore project management for FPSO is limited access to resources. Ibig sabihin, yung mga kailangan mong mga equipment, kailangan mong mga materials, hindi siya accessible. Okay, sabi dito, the construction of the Kaambo FPSO of the coast of Angola total face difficulties in transporting modules to the project site due to lack of infrastructure. Okay, so hindi ma-transport yung mga module dun sa project site, no? And limited local resources. To overcome this, effective planning and coordination with suppliers is crucial, ensuring that all required resources are available when needed. So yan yung mga strategies natin. Okay? Another thing, harsh weather conditions. Yan. Na-anticipate dapat natin ito since we are working on the offshore environment. No? Offshore projects, including FPSO, are often exposed to harsh weather conditions, strong winds, heavy seas, and extreme temperatures. Okay? So, example dito, okay, meron ditong Brazil's Campos Basin, no, had to implement specific design features to withstand the region's challenging weather conditions. To mitigate these challenges, project managers must carefully consider weather forecasts, plan for contingencies, and ensure that appropriate safety measures are in place to protect personnel and equipment. Okay? complex regulatory environment. Yan. Offshore project management for FPSO involves navigating a complex regulatory environment as projects are subject to various international and local regulations. So meron dapat tayong susundin. Kung marami tayong mga safety requirements, environmental protection and compliance with industry standards, dapat mag-confirm tayo doon at dapat ma-accomplish natin yon before construction or during construction. No? Sabi dito, isang example dito, the development of the Johan Castberg FPSO in the Barents Sea faced challenges related to complying with strict environmental regulation to protect sensitive Arctic ecosystem. Okay, to address this challenge, okay, project managers must stay updated on regulatory requirements, engage with relevant authorities, and ensure that all necessary permits and certifications are obtained. Yan. Hindi ka kasi pwedeng basta lang mag-construct doon. No, may mga regulatory requirements tayo at dapat na i-anticipate natin yan at dapat ay ma-comply natin at kasama yan sa planning. Okay? Gano'n ba katagal halimbawa ang pag-secure ng permit? Okay? So kasama yan sa timeline natin. Okay? Cost control and budget management. Okay? Managing cost and staying within the budget. Yun ang goal natin kasi is a constant challenge in offshore project management. Okay, this project often involves significant capital investment and long project duration, making effective cost control crucial. For instance, during the construction of the Egina FPSO in Nigeria, Total implemented various cost-saving measures, including the use of local content and innovative construction techniques. To successfully manage costs, project managers must establish robust cost estimation processes, closely monitor expenses, identify areas for potential savings, and implement effective risk management strategies. Napakaganda nung you identify areas for potential savings. No? Para lagi kang within the budget. Hanggat kaya mong makatipid, alin ba yung mga pwede mo na gawing, i-cut mo yung cost, i-reduce mo yung cost, pero it would not sacrifice yung quality. So doon ka magkakaroon ngayon ng extra budget, no? Na pwede mong gamitin as part of your contingency cost. Okay? So yan yung tinatawag nating identifying areas for potential savings and you implement effective management strategies. And stakeholder engagement and communication. So dapat merong close coordination between the project owner, between the project contractors, and yung ating set of manpower, yung team nating gumagawa. Clients, contractors, regulatory authorities, and local communities. Okay? Merong mga cases na ang local communities ay nagkakaroon ng disagreement, no? During the construction phase, kaya dapat ma-anticipate natin yon. For instance, during the development of Libra FPSO in Brazil, Santos Basin, Petrobras implemented, no, a comprehensive stakeholder engagement strategy to address concerns raised by the local communities and environmental organizations. Project managers should establish clear communication channels, regularly update stakeholders on project progress, and proactively address any issues and concerns raised by the stakeholders. Okay, so yan. Ito na yung strategies natin. We have to understand the unique challenges. No? Yung lahat ng challenges na discuss natin. First, we have to understand the unique challenges of this offshore project management. The second is establish effective communication channels, embrace technological advancement, learn from successful case studies. No? So, titingnan natin ano ba yung ginawa ng mga ganung project, paano nila anticipate at paano nila na-overcome yung mga challenges na yon for their successful construction. Okay? Continuously evaluate and improve. Okay? So, yan yung ating magiging goal. Okay, so ito yung ating paradigm. Ito pwede na ninyong gamitin, pwede ninyong i-adapt sa project management plan ninyo. Okay? So ito hindi ninyo makikita uli. Di yan sa inyong mga hawak na mga Old Testament. No? Wala yan. So ito gusto ko makita yan sa inyong bagong project management plan. No? Pwede ninyo itong gamitin, i-discuss lang ninyo on how you are going to come up with this offshore project management plan. Okay? Another thing is yung risk management approach natin. Kasi sabi ko nga, lahat ng during construction, or even during operations, there are risks associated and you have to manage the risk. No, hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng problems, magkaroon ng ng threat doon sa ating property, doon sa people. Okay? Kasi hindi natin na-anticipate yung mga possible risks. So the very purpose of risk management is to avoid threatening project safety and development. Ano ba yung mga nakaka-threaten doon sa ating project management, doon sa construction halimbawa or during operation? Ensure achieving industry investment goals and business continuity. Prevent work-related injury and illness. No, ito yung very common. And help to achieve cultural and operational discipline requirements. The risk management approach is represented by detailed risk management roadmap. Okay? The roadmap comprises 5 steps. First, identify the risk. You assess the risk and rank it. Identification of risk mitigation, budget allocation, and risk mitigation measures. Okay? Yan, ito yung steps natin na kailangan gawin. At gusto ko rin, ito yung makita ko on how you are going to come up with this framework. Ano ba yung mga kailangan natin ditong i-consider? Okay, ano yung mga possible risks? Halimbawa, you identify, assess the risk. So, i-highlight mo dito, ano ba yun? You develop your contingency plan. No, you implement your risk mitigation measure. How are you going to implement? And how are you going to monitor and review the risk? Okay? Any question dito? Tapos na yung discussion natin dito sa last chapter. Okay? At ang natitira na lamang na i-discuss natin ngayon ay itong design trade-off. Nakikita ba ninyo itong aking aking slide? Nakikita po yung slide?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Itong design trade-off na ito yung last part na gagawin ninyo sa inyong design project. Ano ba yung purpose ng design trade-off? The design trade-off is essential activity for comparing, prioritizing, and deciding among different requirements or design option. Diba sabi natin, you are going to come up with at least 3 design options or 3 design alternatives. 3 yung hinihingi ko sa inyo. Okay? So there should be variation in your design option. Kaya nga option, kaya nga alternative. So ibig sabihin may variation. Okay, you cannot call it as a design alternative kung pareho lang. No, kung pareho lang yung design option 1 mo at design option 2. Kung magkapareho at walang pagbabago, no, it cannot be called as a design alternative or a design option. So ngayon, ang purpose, the very purpose of design trade-off is to compare, no? Prioritize and make decision. No? You decide among these alternatives which one is considered as the best design option. Kasi at the end of the day, after comparison, no, you are going to make decision. You have to select which one is the best. Alin ba yung best? And then you are going to select the best design option based on some performance metrics. Sabi dito, while designing, no, there are many alternatives, no, idea, solution that it can be difficult to decide which should be selected and which should be left out and why. Okay? To make this decision easier, there are different metrics that can be considered to make a decision. So, dapat gagawa ka ng performance metrics, which is your basis for decision making. Saan nakalink yung mga metrics na yon? Those performance metrics or simply metrics are basically linked to 4 multiple realistic constraints. Ano nga ba yung 4 multiple realistic constraints natin yon, Antoinette? Iyong sabihin sa akin. Ano yung mga 4 multiple realistic constraints na nare-require natin?
So sir, meron po tayong first po environmental constraint, economic constraint, technical constraint, and
sige, kaya mo yan.
Ang fourth po is
sige, kaya mo yan.
Sustainability po.
Sustainability. So, apat. Technical, economic, environmental, and sustainability. So, for each constraint, mag-a-identify ka ng applicable performance metric or simply metrics. No? Hindi pwedeng yung iyong metrics na ma-identify sa kada constraints ay hindi naman related. Mali yun. So you are going to identify performance metrics which are related to your multiple realistic constraints. Example, kagaya dito sa ating ipinakikita ko dito, no? Meron kang metrics dito na production efficiency, cost-benefit ratio, no? Carbon footprints and waste reduction. So yan nakalink dun sa 4 multiple realistic constraints. No, paano gagawin natin yung design trade-off? Ito yung procedure basically. Trade-off analysis, okay, is a technique that helps in comparing different design alternatives based on their advantage and disadvantages. It involves identifying the criteria that are important for the process or system such as performance, cost, reliability, usability, security, and scalability. So these are examples of the performance metrics. Okay. Weights can be assigned to each criterion based on how much they matter to you and your stakeholders. Next, evaluate each design alternative against each criterion and score them accordingly. Finally, you multiply the score by the weights and sum them up to get the total score for each design alternative. The design alternative with the highest score is the one that best meets your needs and preferences. So, paano natin gagawin yon? So, mag-i-score ka, maglalagay ka ng weights, kukuhanin mo yung summation ng total score at magsiselect ka. Yun ang procedure. Okay. Now, kagaya nito, may performance metrics kayong nakikita dito at the right. No? The first performance metrics, which is production efficiency in terms of percent, is linked to technical. Technical siya. No, hindi siya pwede sa economics. Production efficiency relates to technical constraint. Gets? Another thing, yung cost-benefit ratio naman, nakalink siya saan? Nico?
Sa economic po, sir.
Yan, economic. Yung carbon footprints reduction can be linked to environmental constraint or it could be sustainability. Okay? Pwede siya doon, sa parehong yun. Waste reduction, pwede ito sa environmental or sustainability. So kung halimbawa yung carbon footprints ay ini-assign mo kay sustainability, itong waste reduction, ito naman ay kay environmental and vice versa. Okay. Ngayon, isa lang yung metrics ang hinihingi ko sa inyo sa kada constraint. Pero pwedeng gawin mo, halimbawa sa technical, 3 ang constraint mong i-evaluate. Okay. Sa economic ay pwedeng hindi lang cost-benefit ratio, kundi let's say you have your NPV, no? Yung payback period or rate of return. So depende yan sa iyo. Kung gawin mong 3 yung iyong metrics for its constraints, that will be fine. No? Ang example na ito ay a single metric for its constraint. No? At ito yung minimum requirement natin. No, hindi pwedeng wala kang performance metric na naka-assign sa isang constraint. Pwede rin namang 1, 2, 3, or even 4 metrics assigned to each constraint. That would be better. No? Okay. So ngayon, meron ka ditong tatlong design alternatives or design option called as DO1, DO2, DO3. No, so tatlo. Sabi ko nga, you will be having at least 3 design options. Ngayon, may mga values ka dito. Let's say production efficiency 80%, cost benefit ratio is 0.8, carbon footprint is 50%, waste reduction is 10,000. No. Ngayon, ang point natin dito, sir, saan ho nakikita yung mga values na yan at paano ho yan naiilagay dyan at saan ho yan kinuha? Okay. Ang sagot, you are going to compute this. Ibig sabihin, i-compute mo yung production efficiency base sa iyong design calculation. Okay. I-compute mo yung cost-benefit ratio based on your economic analysis. I-compute mo yung iyong carbon footprint emission based on sustainability analysis or environmental analysis. So on and so forth. Hindi siya hinulaan. Siya ay kinumpute. So dapat bago ka maglagay sa table ng value or nung iyong data, merong accompanying calculation. Okay. O ano yung problem? Yung kokopyahin ninyo dyan sa mga lumang design, yan ay hindi kinumpute. Yan ay inilagay lamang dyan. Kaya wag kang basta kokopya. O. Kasi pag kinopya mo lang yan, mali yan. Kaya maglalagay ka dapat ng performance matrix. Ano ang criteria mo? J-Gyre, kung ikaw ang magdi-define ng iyong performance matrix, ano yung criteria mo dapat? Ha? J-Gyre. Nariyan ka? Wala. Oh, Maryvel, kung ikaw ang maggagawa ng performance metric at mag-identify ng performance metrics, ano yung magiging criteria mo? Maryvel. Ayaw din sumagot. Tingnan natin mamaya pagka kayo ay magsasubmit na ng activity. Mamaya yung mga tinatawag ko, nire-remove ko sa call ha, hindi pwedeng mag-submit mamaya. O, Rodel Valdez.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Kung ikaw yung magdi-define ng performance metrics, ano yung magiging criteria mo?
Yung mga production efficiency po.
Kaya nga, hindi nga, example nga yun. Kung ikaw nga, halimbawa, ang iyong performance metrics ay halimbawa production efficiency, percent yield, so lahat kayo sa technical, product purity, paano ka magsiselect doon at paano mo gagawin? Paano mo i-identify na ito na ang ating gamitin as performance metrics sa technical? Yung
sa ano po?
Nasaan mo? Ano ang iyong magiging criteria for judging?
Mag-i-base ko po kung gaano po ka-importante yung metrics po. Sa degree of importance po.
Yung importance. Pero kung ako ang tatanungin mo, sir, tanungin mo nga ako, kayo po sir, paano po kayo mag-identify?
Ano po, kayo po sir? Paano po
tanungin mo ako. Tanungin mo ako, sasagutin ko ang tanong mo. Sige, tanungin mo. Sir, paano po kayo mag-identify ng metrics?
Paano po kayo mag-identify ng metrics, sir?
Sasagutin kita. Mag-identify ako ng metrics dun sa kaya kong i-solve, sa kaya kong i-compute. At may available formula. Naiintindihan mo? Kasi baka mag-identify ka ng metrics, wala ka namang makitang formula at hindi mo ma-compute. Paano ka maglalagay ng value? Sabi ko nga sa iyo, yung mga kokopyahin ninyo dyan, yan ay hindi naman ma-compute. Yan ay hinulaan lang. Kasi hindi kayang i-compute. Naintindihan? Ikaw, Antoinette. Tatanungin kita, ano ngayon ang iyong magiging criteria?
Mag-base din po, same din po. Hindi ko naman po makakompute po yung value if wala pong available po na mga formula po sa internet or even po sa ating book.
So dapat siya ay mako-compute mo. It can be calculated, it could be computed, at may available data ka. Naglagay ka nga ng performance metrics, wala ka naman makuhang data. May formula nga, wala ka rin naman data. So dapat, yun ang magiging criteria ninyo. Madali, ang ganda nga nitong criteria ito. Halimbawa, reliability, hindi mo naman makompute ang reliability. Sir, paano ho ba kino-compute ang reliability? Yung ba nasa percent? Percent ba yun? Yung ba ay cubic meter? Ano ho ba ang dimension ng ano ba yung unit ng reliability? Yung ho ay kilowatt. Ay nilagay mo yung reliability, ang iyong metrics. Hindi mo naman makompute. Hindi mo naman alam kung ano yung reliability. Ni unit hindi mo alam. Kung yung baga nga ay may unit. Samantalang kung halimbawa, production efficiency, kaya kong i-compute yan. Output over input. Di ba? So, yan ang kailangan ninyong tingnan. Yung mga past design na kinokopya ninyo, yun ay mali. Kasi nga, hindi kinompute. At hindi rin kayang i-compute kasi wala ang data. Yan. Kaya sa defense, itatanong ko yan. How did you compute? How did you compute your production efficiency? Nakita ko lamang po yan doon sa aming kinopyahan. Yan po ay hindi naman po namin talaga yan ang gusto namin. Wala po kaming mailagay diyan. Kinopya na po namin. Yan ang sagot. Ay, paano ko kayo mamarkahan? Yan. So, yan ang iyong titingnan. Yan. So, ito ay kino-compute. Itong hina-highlight kong ito. Don't worry, ito i-share ko sa inyo itong ito. I-share ko ito sa inyo as your reference. No, wag kayong mag-alala, wag kayong kumopya. Ibibigay ko ito sa inyo. So ito yung mga kino-compute, Utoy. No? And then ngayon, mapapansin mo na yung mga parameters na yan or yung mga metrics na yan have different unit. So, may kanyang unique units yan. Let's say production efficiency, percent. Cost-benefit ratio, unitless. Carbon footprint reduction, percentage. Waste reduction, cubic meter. So, mapapansin mo, magkakaiba yung units. Kaya ang hirap mong i-assess. Take note ha, ina-assess mo siya overall. Hindi siya ina-assess in a single metric only. Kasi, kung i-assess mo halimbawa, ito lang, production efficiency, no? Based on the 3 design option, halimbawa, ito lang ang i-assess mo. Let me highlight first. Now, halimbawa, yan ang iyong i-assess na production efficiency. Option 1, 80. Option 2, 75. Option 3, 90. So, kung i-assess mo siya, alin yung best design option? Friends. Angelo. Lakas ang boses.
Yung
ito mag-a-assess nito. Itong tatlong ito, may 80, 75, 90. Alin yung pipiliin mong best
yung
design
highest po, sir. 90 po, sir.
Alin?
Yung highest po. Yung highest po, sir.
So, ibig sabihin, very obvious. No? Yung design option 3, may nanalo na. Kumbaga, uwian na. Kumbaga, kitang-kita mo agad dito. Pero, ang ina-assess natin ay yung lahat ng performance metrics. We are not assessing a single metric, but the overall metrics. Gets? Simultaneously. Kaya yun ang sunod nating gagawin. Kasi kung hatingnan mo lang individually, kitang-kita mo na agad kung alin ang nanalo. Pero hindi mo makikita dito kung titingnan mo siya in overall scenario. No? Ngayon, paano po naglalagay, sir, niyang inyong second column, yung DO1 rating? Ito yung score na sinasabi natin for each performance metric. Sabi kanina, you are going to give your score. No? Next, evaluate is design alternative against its criterion. Score them accordingly. Maglalagay ka ng score. No? Maglalagay ka ng score. I-scorean mo yan. Kaya siya ay may score dito. Ito yung score basically. No, halimbawa, 80% madali. Pag percentage madali, 100%, yun yung 10. 1:10 na score mo, 10 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Okay? So, kagaya nito, 80%, syempre, nakarelate siya sa 8 ang score mo. No, 75 is 7.5, 90 is 9. Kung halimbawa ay 65% ang iyong efficiency, ano ang score mo, Rodel?
65 po. Ay, 6.5 po.
6.5. So, ganun lang yun. No, madali pag percentage. No, kaya kung ako sa inyo, kung ako ay magde-define ng ano, naka-percentage siya para mas madali ang scoring. Gets? Yan. So, ngayon, mapapansin mo dito sa cost-benefit ratio, may 0.8 ka, may 0.65, 1.95. So, pwede mo rin siyang i-relate doon. Ngayon, ang point dito, meron ka dito mga percent reduction. No? Diba? 55, 66, 75, 7.5. Pero yung 10,000, 6, 12,000, no? 7, 15,000, 8.5. So, ibig sabihin, hahanap ka ng mga literature that will support your score. Halimbawa, a maximum waste reduction can be taken as 20,000, yun yung 10. At ang 15,000 mo, nasa 8.5 lang. So, and so forth. So, kinakalibrate mo lang yan. No? So ito na yung score ngayon natin. No? Anong napansin ngayon ninyo dito sa score na ito? No? Anong napansin ngayon ninyo dun sa score na yon kanina sa usapan natin? I-relate mo, balikan mo yung usapan natin kanina. Mahirap i-evaluate kanina yung mga values kasi may different units. Kaya dapat maglagay ka ng score. So anong napansin mo ngayon, Miko, dun sa mga score na yon?
Bali, pare-pares na po silang, kumbaga, walang unit, sir.
Yan, unitless na siya. Ang process na ginawa natin to remove the unit, no? Normalization ang tawag doon. We normalize the values. Normalization ang ginagawa dyan. Normalize. We normalize the values, no? To make it unitless. So, mas madali ka ngayong mag-evaluate kasi pare-pareho na silang walang unit. Gets? Yun. Ngayon, after normalizing, doon, nakakuha ka na nga nitong mga normalized values na ito, no? Mag-a-assign ka na ngayon ng weights. Ito yung weights natin or degree of importance. Weights ang tawag dito. So, ang weights na may pinakamalaki dito ay yung 4. Highest yun. No? Followed by production efficiency, carbon footprints, and yung waste reduction. So, pwede itong mabago. Pwede mo itong i-rumble. Depende yun sa iyong preference. Yun ang sabi dito. Sabi dito, weights can be assigned to its criterion based on how much they matter to you. No? And your stakeholders. Halimbawa, ikaw ay environmental advocate. Kaya may pinakamataas na weight sa iyo yung halimbawa ay carbon footprints. No. Kung ikaw naman ay after sa profit, mukha kang pera, di ang pinakamataas na ano sa iyo yung cost-benefit ratio. Economics. Gets ninyo. Kung ikaw na may sustainability advocate, di yung yung pang-apat ang iyong magiging number 4. Ang weights mo ay yung may pinakamataas. Okay, weights yun. No? Ito ay weights. So, yung may pinakamataas na weights, yun ang ibig sabihin, yun ang nangunguna sa iyo. Okay? Yan. And then, gagawin mo ngayon, kukopyahin mo ito, no? And then, imumultiply mo yung each rating doon sa iyong weights. 8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4, 32. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 1 is 6. And then you get the summation nito. Ang summation nito is 72. No? The same procedure holds to design option 2 and 3. 7.5 times 3, 22.5. 6.5 times 4, 26. 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 1 is 7. And then you get the summation 67.5. Likewise, for design option 3, 9 times 3, 27. 9.5 times 4, 38. 7.5 times 2 is 15. 8.5 times 1 is 8.5. And then you got a total score of 88.8. Sabi dito sa ating rule, the design alternative, I repeat, the design alternative with the highest score is the one that best meets your needs and preferences. So, ibig sabihin, ang best design option is design option 3. Naintindihan ka, are? Madali lang. So, ito'y weights, no? I-multiply lang individually and then you get the summation. Any question po? Ito isi-share ko sa inyo, no? Isi-share ko sa inyong sa inyong classwork. Okay? Para maging reference ninyo. Kasi pagka kinopya ninyo yung nasa lumang design, inuulit ko, mali po yun. Yan, pakicheck po kung naririyan sa inyong mga classwork. Okay, yan. Yun, design trade-off. Pakicheck kung na-open yung material. So, yun yung inyong magiging guide. So, gagawa na kayo. Iyan na ang last meeting natin. Talagang kailangan matapos na ninyo inyong mga design. The rest of the meeting, more on consultation na lang. Okay, so submission, etc. Defense, no? So dapat ay next week ay meron na kayong schedule ng defense, kayo na ang bahalang mag-schedule sa inyo. Ibigay lang ninyo, i-post lang ninyo dito sa Google Classroom natin kung sino ang mauuna, no? Week 14 ang start ng ating schedule, Monday, Tuesday. Okay? Naintindihan po? May question po? Palagay ko napaka-clear ng ating discussion ngayon. Yung mga hindi mga mag-submit, mga dyan, hindi na-attend. Akala yata ay makakagawa basta ng opya. Kaya kasi kayo, hindi kayo makapasa at hindi kayo makagawa ng tama. Ayaw ninyo makinig, ayaw sumunod. Ang gusto lang mangopya. Ay hindi, wala akong magagawa sa inyo. Sabi ko nga, your last options to pass the subject is yung inyong design project and your final exam. Kasi doon kayo kukuha uli ng additional points kung kayo'y hulog sa exam. Kung kayo'y hulog sa midterm grade natin, ay kailangan kayo'y bumawi. Otherwise, pag yan ay hanggang dulo, kayo'y hindi nag-improve, mahuhulog kayo. Okay, so thank you for your attending the class, no? You can continue doing everything. Everything na Kaya talagang sinasabi ko sa inyo, you have to focus on what you are doing, hindi yung kopya lang ng kopya. Wag niyo sayangin yung inyong oras sa pangungopya kasi at the end of the day, mabibisto lang kayo, ulit lang kayo ulit. Okay lang kung kayo mahulog lang agad. Nangopya ka na nga, mahuhulog ka pa. Nag-uulit ka pa ng design, mahuhulog ka pa. Yun ang pinakamasakit doon no? Kasi hindi ka naman agad basta mahuhulog. Okay lang pag nalaman kung ikaw ay nang-office, kihulog na hindi. Gagawa ka ng bago. Itatama mo base sa requirement. And then pag in-evaluate ko at hindi pa rin maayos, saka ka pa mahuhulog. No? So hulog pa rin ang labas. So wag nang mangopya. Okay? So, yan. So, you continue doing your design project.
Thank you po, sir.